Welcome to JMill's final photography video. In this video, JMill will lecture on basic settings, depth of field, abstract composition, stage photography, and he will also lecture on landscapes. Okay, so basic settings, we already went over that. We went over that in the first and the last video. In basic settings, a point and shoot might have it. A professional camera, that's the ones where the basic settings really come to play with the presets and the effects. Except that the mirrorless camera, the advanced cameras, like the mirrorless cameras, they're more simple. They're more easy. They're more simple. The options are there, and with the viewfinder. I mean, you don't have a viewfinder. You have a live video. You have a live image. Unlike the professional, where you have a viewfinder, with the mirrorless camera you have a live image. You don't have to look through a lens to find your. You don't have to look through a lens to find your image. You don't have to look through a lens to find your image. Okay, depth of field. In the last video, I kind of went over that. In the last video, from like I was saying, if your subject is far, like in your f-stop is at 14, then it's gonna be clear. Now, if your f-stop's at 42, then your subject is the subject is more close, like the way I'm close right now. But like if I got closer to the lens, to the camera, then then the subject will be more clear, and then the background will be blurry. But that's only if the f-stop's at 14, or I mean the f-stop's at 40. I mean 40, yeah. If the f-stop's at 40, around 40, the closer the subject matter, then the more the subject, like I was saying, and then your background will be not in focus. It will be out of focus, and your subject will be in focus. You will get a bokeh. That means the closer the image, the more in focus, and at the closer the image, around 40 millimeter, the more in focus, and the further, and if the f-stop's at 14, or like more, is the camera, if the lens, the more the camera is more, like if the more the camera's like if the camera's at 14, then the further is gonna be in focus if the camera's at 14. Okay, now that covers depth and field. There's also motion. Now you might say if your camera's like if you have a bulb. All right, like depth. All right, motion. If you motion. Now you could hold for motion. I think the shutter. I think it's the shutter. Okay. So the shutter. So if you're, well, let me see. If your shutters, if your manual, because there's two. There's the f-stop and then there's the shutter. So if the shutter, the longer the shutter takes to, like, that's the more motion you're gonna get. So yeah. That's motion. So hold on, I have a book. Hold on, I have a book here. Oh, I'm gonna go over motion right now. I'm gonna go over motion right now. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Okay, almost there. Okay, almost there. Where is... Yes. Okay. Light. No, it's shutter. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Yes. Okay. So the shutter. So if it, right here, this right here, the book. This book right here. Now this book is called Course in Photography. Now this is a course that I took in this is a course that I took at photography. It's saying that a 1/30th of a second, the slower the shutter, the more the subject is blurred. Now that's the subject that you're shooting, like a car, and the background will be in focus. Now if your shutter is at 1/5, 1/500th of a second, then the faster your shutter. So the faster your shutter, the more the subject is, the faster the shutter, and the more sharp your subject. So that's what the book is saying. So basically at one like 29th, your subject is gonna be blur, and at 1/500 your subject is gonna be in focus, the whole image. Now basically to get a motion image, you basically, you gotta hold the camera, and you gotta be moving with that. You gotta be moving with that subject, like a car. So if you're in another car and your subject is in the car is moving, you're gonna wanna take the photo you're gonna take the photo while moving with that car. Or you could just you move your camera while the car's moving in front of you. Like if there's a car going, then you use the camera while the camera's moving in front of you. So you use your camera. So you use the flash, and then you use the flash, and then you take the picture where the car's moving. Let me see. Hold on, let me look at my book. Hold on. And that's at 1/30th of a that's at 1/30th of a shutter.